Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's episode of What Did I Watch Last Week is about the movie Shirley, starring Elizabeth Moss, Michael Stahlberg, Logan Lerman, and Odessa Young. Now, this movie is about Shirley Jackson, the horror writer, getting inspired to write a new novel after her and her husband take a college couple in to live in their home. Now, to describe this movie as realist fantasy at the same time is kind of an understatement, but basically, from what I got of this movie, Shirley Jackson was a bitch. She knew she was a bitch, and she liked being a bitch, because the way she was coming after Rose, bad. But we'll get there. Basically, what the whole movie is Shirley Jackson is trying to come up with a new idea for a book, and she's a recluse in life. After actually doing some research about it, she had a whole bunch of health problems. She had a heart condition, she had asthma, she had dizziness, some sort of, depression, and she would literally be at home for months on end. It would rarely go out. Most of the people in her town would actually talk shit about her and say that she's gone crazy and she's just not to be trusted. But I think it's really interesting because, as a writer myself, I wouldn't say I go through the depression doubts that she goes to, where she doesn't clean her room, she doesn't wash the dishes, anything like that in writing sense, or like she's going through this depression and her husband thinks of it as just her writing process. And maybe for some people it is. I mean, it's not for me. But, I know some people who are creative types that are, that have these deep depressions in between writing stories or honestly just living, because who doesn't have depression these days? And then when this young couple, Fred and Rose, move in, she kind of uses Rose as a muse, in a sense. And it's really interesting because she wants to write the story about this missing girl that actually went missing, I think either in their town or in another state. And so every single time she's getting brainstorming about this woman and trying to get to know her story, she envisions Rose. And Rose and Shirley's relationship are very combative, but at the same time symbiotic. They kind of link each other. Now, Rose is married to Fred, and they're both college students. And Stanley, Shirley's husband, is their teacher. So basically, Stanley asked Rose to help take care of Shirley, while she's going through her her bouts of her depression, and trying to help her so she can get her writing juices flowing. And Rose is like, well, I gotta go to school. And Fred was like, oh, it's fine. And they're like, well, you get free room and board. So free room and board, I'm not gonna argue with that. So they go live in this house, and the first night they have dinner, and Rose cooked the dinner. She cooked the whole spread, and Shirley came down the stairs acting foolish, calling out Rose for not knowing her husband, asking if her husband's cheating on her, asking her if she knew that she was pregnant, and she outed her pregnancy to her husband at the dinner table. And I'm like, Shirley is messy. She is messy, and she knows she's messy, and she don't care. And I'm like, okay, Shirley, is this how this is going to be? Because it looks like it's going to be like this. So, over time, Shirley and Rose develop this friendship, kind of. Well, I don't know, relationship, because as Shirley is trying to get a hold of this subject that she wants to write about, and Rose is just trying to get Shirley to like her. Shirley has her do these things, get the girl's medical file so she can look at it, basically, like, she does everything for her. Like, she cleans the dishes, she cooks dinner, she does all these different things for her, and they just grow this respect for each other, because obviously Rose actually respects Shirley as a writer. And they've had these small moments, like when they're in the kitchen and they're talking about secrets and what's like to be invisible. And they really get to have that friendship starting on. But then it turns into a flirtation, and Shirley's all up in Rose's business. And it's really interesting to watch, because you've always seen like the men and their muses are usually female, but you don't usually see it for women. And Shirley knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Rose knows what she's doing. And they're doing it together. Now, there was this one scene where Shirley was sitting on the swing and was flirting with Rose and like pulled her closer in between her legs. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh, this is too much. This is too much. But, and then at the dinner table later tonight, she was like, kind of, not like ridiculing her, but like getting on her about something. I honestly don't remember. But like when she was trying to go away, she pulled her in. She put her hand up her skirt. And Rose was like, And I'm like, whoa. So like, I think it was really interesting to see their relationship develop. And while their relationship is developing, Fred and Rose's are kind of going down the drain. Because Rose knows that Shirley knows that Fred is cheating, because he uses the same excuse her husband uses when he's cheating with other women. So she knew he was cheating, and she didn't tell Rose until they were fighting, I think. And Rose got so angry at Fred, and it kind of sucks too, because Rose was pregnant, with this baby, and they were pregnant before they got married. So now the years go by, like a year. No, barely a year. I think at least 6 months go by. And Rose has this baby, so now she's stuck in this house, can't go to school. Then she found out her husband's cheating on her. So it was a lot to deal with. And Shirley knew, and of course Rose was upset with Shirley because she didn't tell her, but Shirley's like, you deal with that how you want to. I know my husband's cheated, and now I'm in an open relationship with him, and our relationship is our relationship. And I just thought that was really interesting, because in the end, Rose, I don't know if Rose left with Fred or not, because at the end of the movie, her and Shirley and their baby, and Rose and Fred's baby, are standing at the edge of this cliff because Rose just almost had enough. And Shirley stands with her. And I think it's really interesting too, because I feel like their relationship is a symbol, because they're almost the same, because they feel like they're both invisible women. They're stuck in this house. They feel like they're not being understood, and this one character that Shirley's trying so hard to get a grip of kind of reminds them of them, because lost girls, they're invisible. So in the end, I don't know if Rose went with Fred or not, because the way that this film was shot, first of all, the cinematography is probably one of the best things about this movie. The cinematography is beautiful, great wide shots, like shallow depth of field, like I said, the realist fantasy of it, because there's these moments where Shirley is dreaming or thinking of this mystery protagonist, and her face is always blurred out, but when the face shows, it's Rose. Even though it's someone else, she always sees Rose. And during this time, Shirley Jackson was actually on a whole bunch of barbiturates, so she was hallucinating a lot, laid out, time was slowing down. So it was portrayed like that, and it was like almost like it was like mashes of reality and fantasy, and just how that plays out in the film just makes you rethink the ending. Like, was any of it real? Did Rose leave with Fred? I don't know. And it was really interesting to contemplate. And yeah, those are my thoughts. I kind of just rambled for the last like 10 minutes. So if you guys can follow what I'm talking about, yeah. I swear these things are going to get more in depth, I promise. But I just want to get my thoughts out there. I still thought it was a really good movie. I oddly liked it. Would I watch it again? Maybe. Probably watch it another 2 times or something. Elizabeth Moss probably gave one of the best performances of the year, even though the Rona got all of us. Streaming services, TV shows, video on demand, people still having the best performances of the year. So Elizabeth Moss is yet again killing it. I haven't seen The Invisible Man. I heard she was really good in that. I mean, I know her from The Handmaid's Tale, and that is... I love The Handmaid's Tale. So good. If you guys haven't read the book, haven't read the graphic novel, haven't watched the show, y'all should. We're pretty much living in a pre-Gilead, if you ask me. But those are my thoughts for movies I watched this week. So, if you want to hear more random thoughts, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time.